Hey guys, Randy here at etrailer.com. Today we're going over the different types of RV awnings. We get a lot of questions about these. People are sometimes worried that if they use them the wrong way, they're going to break them or something like that. Basically, we're going to go over how to deploy them. We're going to go over how to store them. We're going to go over care and maintenance. We're going to go over the different types, and we're going to go over how to choose the right one for your application. So really the most popular question that we get is, how do I get my RV awning deployed? So we're going to go through the three styles. We've got the older style manual deployment awning. You'll probably see this is going to be the most difficult to get out. There's a lot of steps that we have to do. On our fifth wheel trailer, we're going to be using the newer style manual deployment, much easier system. And then finally on our camper trailer, we've got a powered system. So you'll see how easy that one is to use as well. All right, generally with an older style manual deployment awning, we're going to have some keepers right up here. These happen to be just a kind of a push button and they swing out. You might also have a snapper pin that would slide through and snap it. Basically, it's keeping two components of the arms together so it doesn't come out. So we want to release those on both sides regardless of what type of fastener you have. Once we have those out, we're going to have knobs generally on the back side. We want to loosen these knobs up. We're going to do that on both sides as well. Now in your final step, you're going to need to use a rod, or in this case a broom handle is what the customer has picked, to release your lever. It's generally going to be located on that front side. Ours has kind of a slider here. We just need to push that up until that catch. See this little arm right here, until that releases. The next thing we'll need to do is find the strap located here in the middle. Most of these you'll be able to reach up and grab. In some cases you'll need a hook that's on a rod. That hook will go right through the opening here. In our case it's low enough we can get a hold of it. Just want to bring it all the way out till it stops. All right, that looks good there. Next we're going to have our side supports. We loosen that knob on the back here to allow these to expand as we move them forward. You'll see this joint, see how it can come together, then it starts to expand out. And that's going to come all the way up. Generally these are going to clip into position. You can see that little catch right there, comes out, and that's going to hold that in place. Head to the other side, and we'll do that there as well. Next thing we're going to do is release our main side arms here. So we'll pull that lever up. That'll allow us to start extending it. Now as we do that, you'll see the side of our awning starts to come up, and then we'll have to get it in a locked position there. So that's got that side taken care of. Let's head over to the other side. Now we'll come back to our arms on each side, and we'll want to tighten down those side supports. Now we've got our pull strap here. This will generally slide over and out of the way. Now our strap, we'll just tuck it up and out of the way. I really don't like it if it's just hanging down, flapping around while you're trying to move around your campsite, so it's a good area to store it. Now in the newer style manual, they've kind of turned it into a hybrid almost. This uses all of the functions that we generally get out of a powered awning. You're just the motor basically. So we're going to take the provided hook and rod. It's going to go right in here to this catch, and then it's just a matter of rotating it. Once we have it deployed, it's really all there is to it. The only thing we've got to do now is put our rod back away. Now onto our powered awning. Of course, this is going to be the easiest in the bunch. Open your door, hit a button, and it starts coming out. Now of course, retracting our power awning is just as simple as deploying it. You just need to hit the retract button. Now for our manual hybrid type, just a matter of reversing the process as well. Now for retracting our manual, we need to loosen our side supports. Then we'll lift our lever and allow it to tilt down. And we'll release our side supports here and take them down to their original position. Now we'll take our strap, we need to get this back to the middle. And our next step is going to get our release into the closed position. So you pull that down on that so we hear it click. You can see that start to go back up. Now I like to hold this until I get a hold of my handle. And then let it go on in. Now remember, you either have snapper pins or these levers that are going to go in. Be sure those click closed on both sides. Now that should take care of some of the questions about how to use the awning properly. As you saw, the older style, definitely the toughest. The hybrid and powered, they're about the same as far as getting them out and getting them back in. The next thing we'll move on to is cleaning and care. How to properly clean it, how to properly care for it. Now there are two materials that you need to look out for. The first is going to be a vinyl material like what we have here. You can see no pores in that at all. The other type we're going to have is going to be an acrylic type. Now that's going to be more of a woven fabric like what you'd see on a car's top. For either of them though, you can use the same solution, either Valterra awning cleaner, which is commercially available, or you can use dish soap and water, of course diluted down pretty well. The biggest difference in cleaning them is going to be the brush that you use. On the acrylic type, which is woven, you need to use a little bit stiffer brush because it's porous. You just don't want to get into it too heavy. You don't want to brush too hard because it will have a water resistant coating on top of it. For our vinyl type like this, we can use a softer brush because it doesn't sink in, it won't get as far down in. Same solution, soap, water, awning cleaner, whatever you decide. And then we're going to use that little bit softer brush it on there. Again, this does have a coating on it, the mildew resistant coating, so we don't want to brush too hard, but either way, using one of the solutions of the soap water, you should be able to get it nice and clean. Now once we've got them properly cleaned, it's just going to be a matter of hosing them off at that point. The key being that you want to let these dry out thoroughly. If you roll these back up with moisture in them, regardless of the mildew protective finish or not, it's probably going to develop some of that inside. Now as far as choosing the right awning for your application, it's going to depend on how your situation starts. Since we already have an awning on this camper, we're going to come over to our brackets. We're going to measure from the bottom to the top. That gives us our bracket length. Then we'll measure from the center of one to the center of the other. That's going to give us our length. That's really all there is to it. Now if you're starting without an awning at all, you've got some additional options. One requirement that you will have is that we need to have an extrusion. It's just going to be a circle with a slit in it so we can slide our awning in. And you'll notice in this case, our camper has it the entire length. So if we chose to, we could move our awning position from here and we could bring it back further this way. As long as you've got room for our bracket to fit, it's going to go right on there. On the other end, it's kind of the same way. This bracket is set in a little bit from the end of the camper so we can bring that out further. So just measure your furthest part. Remember, if there's a slide out in there, we don't really want to deal with that unless our awning sits way up and over it. So keep that in mind. And then you measure from your extrusion down to see how much length you have. If in this case we could have brought these down a little bit further, maybe got a little more length out of our awning. So those are just a couple things that you'll need to have, and if you know that information, get the length that most closely matches. Let's say you measure it and it's 17.5 feet. You've got the choice between a 17 or an 18-foot awning. You'll want to go with that 17-footer. If you don't have the extrusion, we have it available on our website. You can put it on there, slide your awning in, put in your brackets, and you'll be in good shape. Now, one of the benefits I see out of the older style is that we do have adjustability here for pitch. So we can move our bracket up, drop that side down a little bit. That's going to cause our rainwater to come off this end. So we can choose which end we want it to come off. Kind of a con that I see to this style are these brackets that stick out. Generally on a hybrid style or on a powered style, you're really not going to have to worry about it. Those are located up a little bit higher. But if you do want to get these out of the way, most of the time we're able to take these arms off of the camper, bring them out, try to straighten them out, and you'll definitely want to use some stakes down here to keep these from moving. but that'll kind of get that angled bar out of the way, give you a little bit more room to move around. Now when it comes down to it, all of these awnings are going to do a great job. They're going to be effective at keeping some of the water out, keeping everything nice and dry, or keeping us out of the sun. As far as ease of use, of course the powered is going to be the easiest. The hybrid is going to be the second, and the older manual style, that's going to take a little bit of effort. Also with that older manual style, it's going to become harder and harder to find parts. So if you're just trying to fix what you've got, it might be a good option to stay with that. But if you're looking for a replacement, I would definitely upgrade to the manual hybrid. That's my favorite. That's what I would have. That way I just have that stick. I know it'd work every time. With the powered awning, as long as you've got a good working battery, it's also a very good option. The thing I like about the manual style is that I don't have to run wires. There are powered options, however, that have rechargeable batteries you can plug in and just use them without having to hardwire anything. So we've got a lot of good options. My favorite one would be manual hybrid. Well guys, I know it's a lot of information, but hopefully it was helpful. Hopefully it'll give you some idea how to use and care for your RV awning and get the right one that you're looking for.